Perhaps one of the hardest things in this world is to maintain our vibration, to stay in balance in a world that is in constant flux and change and unpredictability. So today I really want to invite you to recognize the toolkit that you already have, those inner resources that you've built up over time, perhaps through the videos that we've been doing recently, but probably over your own experiences. There are many rituals and practices that we have in there that can help us in challenging times, but often they don't require any money. They don't even require much time. Perhaps they just require our intention, the use of the breath, a focus of energy in some way. And of course we can incorporate crystals if we have them available, but it's not essential. You will start to learn and feel intuitively which tool is the right tool to bring in for a particular situation that you're facing, whether that's challenging or whether it's just a new situation or a daily situation where you realize that, okay, I found that doing this before each session is very helpful. And that could be different for each one of us. What I use for my clients might be very different to what you find works with your clients. But in each case, the things that we've talked about, like doing protection rituals, energizing the space, preparing yourself, tuning into the planetary energy if you want to. All of these things just give you that little advantage over the energetic situation, over the unpredictability of the world that we're in. So the other day my friend contacted me. She was feeling very overwhelmed. She felt she was having these mind attacks that she couldn't control, and she was asking me for advice. A few years ago I would have jumped in with ideas and quickly wanted to give my take on it and talk about the latest book that I'd been reading and how it could help her. But I've learned over time to instead take a breath and either give an answer that comes from that heart place, or even just say, let me get back to you, so that I have time to just meditate on what she's asked me about and come back with an answer that I feel intuitively will be good for her. And so I told her that I'd let her know, just to leave it with me. I'd have a think about it. She was asking me about crystals. And later that day, I recommended that instead of doing a crystal remedy, which we've done in the past, that actually she set an intention. So I recommended that she write a note to the universe, to her angels, whoever she felt was out there, and just ask for some clarity. If you're trying to communicate with me, please make the messages clearer so I don't feel so unsettled. There was an intention, and she wrote it down and put it under her pillow. So setting an intention, something as simple as asking the universe, writing it down, repeating that intention before you go to sleep, helps to give direction to the universe. But what do you do when you have these mind attacks? Are you going into this kind of self-doubt and questioning yourself and wondering what's wrong with you? Or are you remembering, this is when I need to be a letting go machine. My mind is producing thoughts. I need to keep letting it go. Maybe you went out with friends on the weekend to a busy place where we can pick up energies, absorb vibrations, and they destabilize us. Maybe now you remember more to do these protection sequences so that you're using a crystal to amplify your aura before you go out into a busy place. And it helps, it really does. But if you forget, then when you get home, maybe you're feeling that mind attack, you can do other things. You can ground. Feet on the floor, imagining the roots growing down into the ground, through the ground, pushing through the earth, down to the core. There are things that we can do. It's not about feeling guilty. Oh God, I forgot to do that protection. That's why I'm feeling so shit. No, it's not about that. It's just about keeping reminding ourselves, using other tools that will bring us back into balance when we remember. What about when things do get really intense, where maybe we are triggered by something that is, bringing some old trauma up? You see somebody in the park that you haven't seen for years and years that you used to go to school with, and all of a sudden it brings up old stuff. And this requires deeper work. It requires that shadow work, as it's called, which is really just another name for more deep psychological work. And perhaps you can do that with yourself. Perhaps you have learned so many techniques in whatever therapy that you specialize in, or maybe you've just read a million books like I have. And so you can work on yourself in this deeper way, but sometimes it requires speaking to somebody professionally. And isn't it amazing that we have all of these options now? So many people that we can go to that even just 20 years ago weren't available. In fact, it probably wasn't even as accepted that we go to a therapist. But sometimes that is the work that needs to happen. And if you haven't already thought about that mini astro reading that I've been offering, this is a great way into those energies that you were born with. Astrology just really gives us a greater awareness. Reiki, crystal healing, all of these things, all of these options that we have now that can really help us. But of course we do live in this world where there are terrible things happening, where there are atrocities happening to people who are suffering. We can't ignore that. We see it around us sometimes, depending on where you live. But if you still watch the television, even on social media, it's in our face. Not that we should ignore those, but we also have to ask, is this yours to carry? Is this energy of pain and suffering yours to take on? Because when you take on that suffering, when you feel that anger or sadness, resentment towards them, whoever they are, then that's what you're adding to the world. Isn't it more beneficial to add your harmony, to add your balance, to add your awareness, which helps other people to also recognize a deeper part of themselves? And the greatest advantage of maintaining your vibration, of staying in balance, is that you help the people around you, that your clients come back to you again and again because they feel your peace as soon as they walk in the door, as soon as they click Zoom, as soon as you touch their bodies. If you're doing some kind of therapy that involves a body connection, they come to you because they can see that you live in this changing world and that you have tools that are working for you, that you have moments where you're not feeling great, but that you found ways to bring yourself back into balance, that you found ways to stand back from whatever the mind is saying and instead be a witness, even if just for a moment, of what's happening. And that creates space. Maybe the people around you notice that you take breaths every now and then. Those conscious breaths where you're taking a breath before you speak, before you react. I'd love to know how you're doing, and I'd love to know what you're doing to maintain your vibration. Let me know in the comments below. And just to know that you working on yourself in this way, just these small practices, isn't just for you. It's so that the universe can work through you and reach the people that the universe needs to reach through your work, through your hands, through your voice, by trying to stay in balance, by bringing ourselves back into harmony with our bodies. Then we allow that wisdom to come through, to combine with that wisdom that comes from the heart, together with everything we've studied. If you are thinking about becoming a therapist of some kind, or maybe you just resonate with this because you are the one that helps the people around you in your family, you're the one that people go to, this information is for you as well. Thank you for watching.